supposed to grant the least amount of variance possible. There appears to be many other locations this could go. It may not be the most ideal for the applicant, but certainly there are many other spots on the property shed could go, right? That's one concern. Two is, in granting this, because it's at an intersection of where this is, I'm just worried about granting a variance that would put the shed into sight lines of the intersection.
There's no sight line, and there is none. I mean, I can show you where the fire hydrant is, that is, if you can, so, this is the shed. This is the corner of at Route 3 and Allegheny. There is, when I measured it, if you can look on your original paper, Steve, I believe there was 50 feet from the edge of Route 3 to the back of the shed. Or 50.3, or something like that. On my original paperwork that I sent in.
56.2?
50, there's from Route 3 to the back of the shed. So there's no, there is no,
36.
there's
You
no,
say it's from Route 3, 36.
there is no effect on the visibility of anyone that's coming off Allegheny onto Route 3, or anyone on Route 3 that wants to pull into Allegheny. There is no visual effect, there's nothing, there's no safety issues with this. The fire hydrant is placed right here, and you can see that it's well back between the stop sign to come on to Route 3, or, you know, to come off.
I guess, in line of what Matthew's saying as far as sight though, it's also as you're driving to the stop sign, you get a visual as well as somebody coming up can get a visual of someone coming out of Allegheny long before, the 10 feet before they got to stop. And that all,
Long before that.
no, but I'm saying, with the shed there, it would negate that ability
Right.
to look down Route 3, or to look down from Allegheny as your neighbors are coming out, to look down as a car's coming until they're already.
And that's a lot of times why front yard variances are the way they are, for
Right.
sight line purposes. That's why corners
With
do
all
too,
due
so you
respect,
can't
I
put a
just
hedge.
disagree. There is no visual effect of that whatsoever. I have a motorcycle. When I come off Route 3, I have plenty of room, or excuse me, off Allegheny, I have plenty of room to see left or right of any cars coming. The tree line on this side of Allegheny far exceeds the shed. So the tree line here where the ditch is on Allegheny far exceeds what the visibility is compared to my shed. The reason for the shed is my physical ability. That's the reason I've asked for the variance, that's the reason for the placement of the shed. And I'm hoping that, I explained as much as I possibly could. I'm leaving it to you guys to decide on.
Right. So, the Board of Appeals, we were supposed to balance the benefit to the applicant with the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the community. And whether the benefit can be achieved by other means feasible to the applicant. That's where we're at right now with the question, if we turned it, is it gonna make it that much less with that 2 feet or not? Undesirable change in neighborhood character or to nearby properties, it doesn't seem like it's going to do anything to that, and your letters from all the people on the road backing on that. Whether the request is substantial, it is fairly substantial just because of your 2 front yards.
I still can't, I'm having trouble with the necessity for this shed for snowballing purposes. I'm not discounting anything you're saying, but I gotta say, so if the shed goes in the backyard, and a lot of stuff that's in the garage now goes into the shed for the winter, the snowblower can sit in the garage that's already there, and we've solved that problem. This seems to be, and I hate to say it this way, I don't mean it to be callous, this appears to be a variance of convenience, not necessity. You're not supposed to grant variances based on convenience. They're supposed to be based on necessity. And so, unless the applicant wants to table this and come back with specific facts as to why you can't go in any of the other spots that we've said.
So when you get a snowstorm of 6 feet, then I'd like you to be able to come over and take care of that snow.
No, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
And with it placed in the back of
My
the yard.
guess is there are things in your garage that you don't use in winter, such as maybe your motorcycle you talked about. If that
My motorcycle goes in my trailer.
That's another thing. So there's a trailer on the property, the shed could go where the trailer is, or at least take up a big chunk of that property.
The trailer sits in front of my garage door. as you can see on what your photo, if you would bring that up, Alan, or, I'm sorry, Alan's not there. The trailer sits in front of my garage door.
Right.
That's where the motorcycle goes into during the winter. I have no room inside my garage to house a track with a lawnmower with a snow blower attachment. When I put 2 cars in the garage, I have no room to be able to put a lawnmower, tractor with a snow blower on it.
You plan on putting that in the shed though? right?
Yes.
But the argument that I was having earlier along the similar line, I didn't articulate it, was if you have to shovel to get to the shed in your turnaround spot, the first thing you do is open the door and you start the machine to blow the snow. It would be the same effort to open up the doors, whether it was in the backyard or if it's in your turnaround spot.
Yeah,
Because the snow blower is then gonna push
it's,
whatever you need out of the
you're right, it's
So
the
that's what-
same amount of effort of opening the door,
Right.
but it's an additional 50 feet. I'm gonna have to try to get the snow blower through the backyard out to the front driveway. Or more, because where would I put the shed in my backyard? I would have to put it in the back corner of my lot. I would have to come across the whole lot around the side of the garage
So you
out to
can-
the front of the driveway.
I guess we were talking about behind the garage.
Well, again, behind the garage, I have, well, no.
Yeah, but I mean-
So the cosmetics of that, I mean, so that would look, okay, so now I'm just looking about cosmetics as far as the neighborhood and that kind of stuff. So a shed sitting in the middle of my yard and behind the garage is less appealing than having it sit on the turnaround in the side yard? I don't know.
Yeah.
As far as the safety issues, I addressed that. There is no safety issue coming off Allegheny onto Route 3. The shed sits back much further than the tree line of county and state tree line that's on Route 3 with my neighbor across the road. By turning the shed the other way, I can gain approximately 2 feet. But then it's building a platform or concrete or whatever it is to build up 2.5 feet in order for the shed to sit on the side of the turnaround instead of placing it in the center of the turnaround.
Here's the question for you. Your motorcycle goes into the trailer for your winter storage.
Correct.
What if you took your trailer and put that into your backyard and then you could have your shed where that trailer sits?
You could just switch it, you could
Well-
just put the shed in the backyard, put the motorcycle in the shed, and then,
So,
and have a snow blower in the trailer, and
If you
We'll
place
put
the
the trailer
shed
in the-
here,
switch it every season.
if you place the shed here, is this what you're saying where the trailer is?
Yes.
Correct.
This trailer sits 2 feet in front of this garage door.
Okay.
So if I were to place the shed there, that's 2 feet in front of my garage door, and then how do I get my truck into the garage?
How do you do the trailer? That trailer's there.
I don't put it in there in the summertime. I don't put my truck in the garage during the summertime.
So what do you do in the wintertime?
In the wintertime, my truck goes in the garage.
Where do you put the
This trailer goes there for us to go to Florida. So when we go here, this trailer would be moved here during the winter. And then it's moved out of the lawn when we leave. We go to Florida for 2 weeks in the winter and come back. But that's why this trailer stays here during the winter.
But the option of switching your seasonal stuff to reverse what I just said by.
But
if
you
put your-
can't, I can't put a fixed structure 2 feet in front of my garage
No, I'm
door.
not saying put it there, I'm saying if you put your shed where it should be, in the backyard somewhere, and you put your your snow blower in there in the summertime,
I'm not
and
worried
you're-
about storing it for the summertime.
I understand.
Okay.
But if you were to put your motorcycle in there in the wintertime and put the snow blower in your trailer, it would be an issue.
How do I get the snow blower out of the trailer? The back door faces the garage. So how do I get?
You just said you move it in the wintertime, so
Yeah,
it's not
so it
in front of
goes to
your
the
garage.
turnaround and then it comes to.
I'm just looking at options, that's all
I
I'm saying.
understand, I'm sorry,
That's all I'm
I'm
saying.
sorry. I apologize. I don't know what a better.
So they just gave you, I'm gonna interject here for a second, the board you can hear is giving you 3 or 4 different options, none of those seem to work for you. our council gave you a couple options, those don't seem to work for you. This board has to approve the least amount variance when other things
Understand?
are there. I understand you're advocating for yourself. Very essentially, we can all hear what you want, but I think you kind of heard the tone of the board and you have other spots to put it. It sets a precedence of setting something in its front yard. You
Okay.
keep your place neat and clean, but now if you put all sheds 3 feet in somebody's front yard, it makes it very difficult. Could you imagine if there were sheds all the way up the road 3 feet in the front yard?
All the way, so we're not comparing apples to apples, everybody on Route 3 has a designated front lawn, which all faces Route 3.
But
We have
again,
2 designated front lawns.
we are doing apples to apples. So this subdivision was set from Allegheny all the way up through here, so they all have that front yard, so it is apples to apples. Even though you bought a front yard and
So,
you did get a
yeah, so if
variance,
they went 30
hold on,
feet-
give me a
So if
second.
they went
Give me
30
a
feet back
second,
from
you
their
had
front
your time.
yard,
So this board said you knew you got a variance for your garage and you chose to put that after knowing you got a variance. So there is precedence where there is all the way up through, Route 3. So
so,
putting sheds in front yards, you can see this board is saying they've given you several other options.
so they would only have to go 30 feet from their front lawn,
From
their
the front
from their
property.
front property line,
That is correct.
which anyone could do.
Yeah. On 3 feet.
On, great, 30 feet, so they could do that. I meet my front lawn, my designated front lawn, I meet that 30 feet.
You have 2 front yards.
I understand I understand that, what you're saying, that I have 2. Is the same, so my zoning, is it the same as it is on Twin Birch and Wildflower through Blueberry Hill? Are all those the same setbacks as Allegheny?
As you pull in, there's 2 subdivisions that Mr., I can't think of his name, pulled in. As you pull in, yes, there's 30, and then when it turns to the new one and it comes back, there's 50. It goes into the new loop that goes around. Those are 50-foot front yard setbacks, but the original one that's
Okay,
Black Bear Path and,
Blueberry,
right,
Blueberry Hill.
so,
yeah, it goes in and goes left. Those are the same as yours and the Route 3 ones that there's the number lot 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
mhm.
The ones that are all up there, those are all the same 30, 10, 15, 30. So you were part of the original essential character of the neighborhood, and that's what they were trying to articulate for you, that it is
Well,
essential. So there's a checklist they have to go down and they have to try to meet. I think you can kind of hear the tone of the voice
No, I
of
do.
the board.
And
And it's
I'm
not
just
a-
answering
And
questions
it's
that
not
they ask,
against
that's all.
you in a personal way, Ken, too, it's just, it is a precedent issue
That-
with a significant variance of only.
Okay, and that's
or
why-
more.
And that's why I brought up because I wanted to make sure that Blueberry was the same setbacks, because 10 Twin Birch has a shed, he's a corner lot on Wildflower and Twin Birch. He has a shed in his front lawn that is closer to Wildflower than my shed is to Route 3. It's also closer to Twin Birch than mine is on Allegheny. So I'm not asking to set a precedent, I am,
But we didn't approve that, I don't believe.
Yeah, I'll take a ride out there tomorrow and send
Yeah,
I
one.
mean, I'm not trying to throw anyone on the
Well,
bus,
no,
but
but
I'm
we would
just,
have,
that's been there for 10 years.
but if it was something we approved, that would be an argument that we would have to consider.
Yeah.
But I wasn't here if it was approved. so I don't-
How any,
No, we'll take a look, and if not, we have no problem sending a letter.
Anyway,
Yeah.
okay.
so right now, we're at the point where we're debating still whether or not it can be achieved by other means.
Or table it and think about it and see if you can come up with something else.
I have 2 options, I can, put a for sale sign up and sell it. There's no other option for me to be able to achieve what I set out to do. Putting it in my backyard doesn't, it does not achieve the goal that I set up for. Placing it in my front lawn my designated front lawn in Allegheny to gain the 30 feet setback from Route 3. So I'm asking for whether it's 3.3 feet, or it's 5.3 feet. By turning the shed or placing it on the side of the garage, or turning in the turnaround, it doesn't change that much. So the only option I have is selling it or being granted the variance.
The other possibility is, the tent structures don't require anything, right, Steve?
You can see the way, I don't think a tent structure is even a question for, Mr. Godway to even, you wouldn't even put a tent structure in your property the way you maintain it. Yeah, that's not.
Oh, no, I'm just saying for
I
the
know it's
winter
an
time.
option, but, yeah, I don't.
No, I'm just saying for the winter, to house the.
Yeah, we don't consider the temporary,
I've seen his house, I don't think.
Oh, I know, I drove by it today too, so.
I said, there's hindsight, I wish I would have never bought the lot that I bought, but I can't change that. And, things are what they are, so I'm asking for the variance. I don't know what else I can do to explain it.
You have explained it, and we've explained where we have to come from also.
Okay.
Roger did say something about tabling it, to see if he could come up with something else, or if we can come up with something else, but I don't know if you want to do that or not.
I'm not being disrespectful, but I have no other options. I have no other options.
So then, where we're sitting right now, is that we do have other locations on the lawn, or on your property that could prove to be viable. They don't meet your criteria, but they could. So I'll leave it up to anybody here who would want to make a motion to either approve the variance of 3.3 feet, I guess it works out to be.
27 feet.
26 feet of variance, which is a substantial request, or to deny the variance request.
I'm more than we can on this parcel.
Okay, and anybody have a second?
I'll second.
All right, show of hands on that. And roll call vote?
Henry Hale,
Yes.
Bosco LaFors,
Yes.
Marion Alexander. Yes. Roger Black,
Yes.
Patrick Duhane.
Yep.
Thank you for your time. How much time do I have to remove that? Because I need to sell it, so
Typically it's 30 days. 30 days,
what if I don't have it done in 30 days?
you can ask for an extension.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right.
Are we done yet?
So, do you still want to join the zoning board of
I don't
appeals?
know.
This is what your dad did for years. Sometimes you gotta make good decisions. Yeah, sometimes you gotta make good decisions. Sometimes.
Right on the corner, they go up at you.
No, very clear about what you have. The trailers.
I got one too, they pushed themselves.
It's gonna get
He's
the
got a
variance.
jam. He's looking to get it back down.
Guess what?
I mean, I think it's unfortunate because it's a trailer, it's a lot of like that.
Right. That property company, sometimes yeah, it's on your hands on top of it.
Road, and customers get $100 building, and sometimes you get Walmart for the same, that's why the needs. Free, they always come in with, we want the biggest one, they come in. Target one, they were built out. So this board is a little soft on, I think that has to
You
be.
guys can't even get out of it.
It's different. Some of it's not for that. It's,
I remember my dad coming home really frustrated.